Okay, recording started. Yeah, so I'll repeat myself again. Do not send me any assessment task if it is not there. Even if you send it, I'll have to go back to you and say, okay, sir, ma'am, please provide me this document with your signature and details filled in, because you can't have a satisfactory grade without this document. This is a compulsory document. You must have it. Okay. Unless everything is fine, you have to follow rules and policy procedures, submission requirement. That's everything is fine. The main part start from here on this page 5. Yeah, so maybe everyone can go to my village, go to assessment submission. Yeah, and go to task 3, this bit here. Task 3. Yeah, if you want, you can download that and edit that document with me. This assessment task is to be completed based on your workplace or using the simulated workplace provided, that right yes bin. Yeah. Before you complete this assessment, please familiarize yourself with the following. Completing this assessment provides you, it is a purpose of why we are doing the assessment. Yeah. Completing the assessment provides you with the opportunity to show the skills and knowledge that are required to implement and monitor an organization's work health and safety policy, procedure, programs in the relevant work area to meet legislative requirement. Right? It's all about WHS work health and safety. Okay? The assessment involves carrying out activity relating to hazard control and risk assessment. You will work with your team to discuss the following issue as they arise in the workplace. You can do this in group discussion. You must. Okay, so let me. Is that control and risk assessment? That's what you will be doing. You will work with your team to discuss the following issues that arise. You can do this in a group setting. I would say your team. You decide how big your team, unless it specifies. I will do a follow-up questions if I require. You must complete and submit all the requirements by the due date, which we have decided as 3rd July, if I'm not wrong. Yep, which is 3rd July. For the purpose of this assessment, no, I don't think that's right. Yeah, or a work colleague will be, your supervisor or manager. Yeah. I'm happy to view, but if you're waiting for my feedback and everything, it can delay your work, which I don't ever want. So please, you choose your person who can monitor you. And we'll go to that, don't worry. Again, the activities have been split into 4 parts. There are 4 scenarios. Okay. To complete this part of us, read the scenario below and follow the instruction. Part 1 scenario. So what is it? Joe Penfold is wanting to refresh work health and safety in the righteous bin. Either you select righteous bin or your company. It's up to you. You have been tasked with preparing facilitation with the righteous bin staff to raise WHS awareness within the business. So that's your responsibility to increase the awareness. As a health and safety representative, so that's what you are, you have identified potential areas to address, including consultation, reviewing hazard, risk in a workplace, maintain record of accident, incident, and helping people to identify safety issue in the workplace. Now, this is with you already identified. Okay. So again, What does the scenario say? The scenario says Joe is wanting to refresh the WHS in the case study, right, Jasmine? Yeah, you have been asked to preparing facilitation for raising the awareness. Okay, you are a health and safety representative, HSR. This word will be, repeated few instances. You have identified potential areas to address, including WHS consultation, reviewing hazard risk in the workplace, maintain record of accident, incident, and helping to identify safety and issues in the workplace. So that's the scenario. Okay. Part one scenario and part one questions. We got two to take care of. As a team leader, you facilitate a weekly meeting with your team based on Righteous Beans Appendix A, policy and procedure. How do you use this team meeting to facilitate consultation on WHS issue? You will discuss that thing. Okay, so what you are saying, you are a team leader, you are facilitating a weekly meeting, on Monday morning, you say, okay, guys, how was your previous week? Any suggestion what we could have done to minimize the incident happen, or what could have been done differently, like a discussion thing, right? But again, you will meet with policy and procedure of Righteous Beans. During your meeting, there is a discussion about the benefit of having health and safety committee. So you are a representative, everyone is talking about a committee within the organization. All of the team, including yourself, agree that they would like to propose an establishment of an Health and Safety Committee, HSC, Health and Safety Committee. So this is what you will discuss, okay? Second point, as both team leader, so you are also a team leader, managing team, and health and safety representative, what action should you take and what action should management take? Explain the legislative requirement involved in this request in your answer. So that's part one is very simple. You are health and safety representative. You have been asked by your manager to revise WHS requirement if you need to amend any part of it. In order to do that, you got two things. You are a team leader. In your weekly meeting, you come to know from your staff member, a consultation. How would you use this meeting to facilitate consultation on WHS issue? Get their point, what every team member is feeling about WHS thing and everything, right? During this meeting, there is a discussion about benefits of establishing a committee, not just a member or representative, a committee, So as a team leader and safety representative, what would you do and what would management do? Right? So you can say something like, oh, okay, so I would see if we need any legal requirement to establish a committee. I would see if we need to appoint a fixed person, some designated area, if we need any tool, if we need to create any policies and all that thing, that could go there. Some of them could be with you, some of them could be with the management. Yeah, so this is what you'll write there. After taking the required action, the establishment of HSC is confirmed. So you set up the requirement here in this B point, and now it's confirmed. Okay, we are going with the HSC committee and it's confirmed. You have been given the responsibility of coordinating the establishment of the committee. So you are a team leader, you are a health and safety representative, and now you've got an additional responsibility of coordinating the establishment of committee. So you coordinate, okay, so you are starting a new committee. This is what we need. You coordinate HR, coordinate finance, coordinate management, coordinate staff member, right? Why it is important to record all the discussion related to this decision, and how do you communicate this decision to work with the business? So would you create meeting and write minutes of meeting and record them, or would you leave it on internet, intranet, or email, or memos, or notice board? What is it that you will keep a record of? Okay. Joe has asked you as a team leader to read to the following scenario and then contribute to the below task. So that was part one. Okay, that was part one. All good? Any question with part 1? No, looks good. Part 2 scenario. During this week's staff meeting, one of your team member made a complaint about the state of the file archiving room at the head office complex. You know, the archive room is located at the back of the warehouse. While the staff do not work there permanently, they do need to occasionally work in the areas when archiving or searching for the old file. A hazard report has been submitted outlining the issue. You know, the archiving room is where you keep all the archive document that no longer require, but you can't throw it. You have to store it for certain years. Right now, all the settings are online submission, and they can be stored as long as APTC wants or TAFE wants. But earlier, it was paper-based submission. In Australia, the requirement of storing such document will vary from 6 months to 2-3 years, depending on the reputation of the college. If college is dodgy, they will have to store it for longer. The longer they will store, the bigger problem and compliance it will bring. Yeah, if it is 6 months, done and done. After 6 months, you don't need a copy. Let's say if I give a satisfactory grade to Charles and the requirement is 6 months, after 6 months, I can throw or recycle all his assessment work if it was a paper copy and just keep the main copy where I have signature and everything that, oh, Charles is given satisfactory grade. That's it. But if it was 2 years from the date of satisfactory grade, I have to retain it for 2 years. Yeah. But anyway, this was about archiving. Okay. We are talking about this righteous bin archiving. Okay. So where you keep all the extra copies, anything that's no longer required will be kept in an archiving room. Okay. So you got the incidents. There was some incident report being filed. The condition of the archiving room is not in a great shape. Joe has asked you to review Appendix F, hazard report, filing archiving room. Based on Appendix A with the policy procedure, what image actions do you take? But there was some incident report being filed. The condition of archiving room is not great, and someone, one of your team member, right? One of your team members made a complaint. Okay, so Joe said, "Oh, Charles, one of your team member has raised a complaint. What would you do immediately?" But again, whatever you do should be within the policy procedure. Yeah, that's the ultimate. You can say Bible, you know, if Bible prohibits something, we don't do it religiously. Yeah, yeah, we do it. Otherwise, it's a different story. Yeah, but Bible prohibits us for doing it. Yeah. So if you follow this WHS policy procedure, whatever it says, you will do as per the instruction guideline in the policy procedure document. B, conduct an inspection and record your analysis risk control plan by using Appendix B as a checklist risk control action plan template. You should refer to Appendix A, again, policy and procedure to complete this task. So here you are reviewing Appendix F, which is, hazard report, and what immediate actions you will take. Conduct an inspection and record your analysis risk control plan using Appendix B, right? You should refer to A to complete this task, right? So refer to A, yeah, but you are using B, okay? What images housekeeping could be done to address some of the identified hazard and risk in the scene? Again, immediate housekeeping, I'll select that. And finally, it is important to keep your team informed about the issue in the filing archiving room. So anyone who enters in the room is aware of the issue and can take more precautions. How do you explain to your team what issues are and what action you have taken? Draft an email below communicating this to your team. please include a copy of this email in your submission evidence. A screenshot is fine. I'm happy with that. Or you can attach that document. I really like one of the candidate. I wouldn't bring the name, but she or he, I know it, but the candidate really had a very good way of attaching the document. It's like in a hyperlink. Even I'll have to go back and see what it was and how it worked, but it's kind of hyperlink. So once you click on that Word document, it opens the another one. That was great. Yes, I'm so happy that you are being tech savvy. And, so one document, and everything is a link inside the document. Once you open up, it, open up the document, which is really great. So 4 points again. There was an incident file about the archiving room condition. There was some concern, but incident happened. Incident record has been filed. Joe has asked you to review Appendix F, which is hazard report form. So let's go to Appendix F. Okay. That's F. Hazard report filing archive room. Yeah. So this is everything common. The file archive room is a huge mess. I know it's out of sight, but everyone just leave the boxes and file around the place. Just dump in everywhere rather than putting on a filing cabinet. They are on the floor. The files are open. So once you try to take one file, everything else collapse. Maybe collapse on you, collapse on the floor, and then you have to pick it up, put it back, something like that. Sometimes I have to work down there with archiving Gren. It's just an awful place to work. Sometimes I have to move heavy boxes out of the way to get to some of the file. I think someone will hurt themselves moving stuff around a little. The space never get clean either, right? Recommended actions or remedies is clean up and more stuff that are not archiving out of that, So like I said, if it is 6 months requirement, that anything that's been sitting there for more than 6 months, just throw them in a bin. Is no longer required by Righteous Bin. Yeah. Signature is Tris Blaine, the person who wrote it. April, I would write 1 or 2, doesn't matter. HSR, Health and Safety Representative, action taken, that's yourself. So you will fill that column, your signature and date here. Yeah. So that's Appendix F. This is incident record. Let's go back up. This is Appendix A. All this is Appendix A. Okay. Again, review part 2. So we're going through the filing archiving with hazard form. You've seen that? Yeah. We had to look at the B as well. So let's go to B. Hazard checklist and risk control action plan. So risk assessment instruction. So this is a checklist, consider the requirement, consequences likely. Remember, we talked about this in the classroom. Yeah. And I told you that as a manager, as a WHS concerned person, it's really appropriate for you to use this document and fill all the likelihood events in the table. Yeah. Hierarchy areas of control, we already saw that. First is eliminate, then substitute, isolate, engineering control, admin control, or any PPE. And again, some example of it, right? This is the action plan. Hazard, risk, rating, action plan, hierarchy of risk, summary action, and review. Okay. Right, so that is your Appendix B. So we saw Appendix A, B, and F. Let's go back up again and review what we did in task. Again, this was a scenario. During this week's staff meeting, one of your team member complained about the state of the archiving room at the head office complex. So that's a location. Yeah. The archiving room is located at the back of the warehouse, while the staff do not work permanently there. They occasionally work in archiving room searching for the old file. As that report has been filed, Joe has asked you to review the report form, and based on Appendix A, what's immediate action will you do? Like immediate, straight on. What is the thing? Some of things will take time. If you have to clear out the old document in archiving file, it's not immediate action. Yeah, because that will take time. You'll have to go through the requirement, follow that, how long it has to be kept, or whether it's some document may be kept for longer, some may be kept for smaller duration. Yeah. Conduct an inspection, record your analysis using Appendix B. You can refer to A for policy procedure document, WHS policy procedure document to complete the task. Immediate housekeeping. Immediate housekeeping, if you would recall from the hazard form, the F, Appendix A, it was in a great mess, wasn't clean. So immediate action, you can start the cleaning up, yeah, and move the boxes away so there is big room to move it. Just imagine this classroom, there is boxes everywhere, and you have to literally go over the box to go to the other side of the class, yeah. Then it's a big hazard, right? So that's the immediate thing. Move the boxes away, keep it, store them very nicely, and that's why you can minimize all the hazards. Okay. And finally, it's important to keep your team informed about issue. So finally, what you are doing, you're telling, oh, okay, our incident report has been filed. This is the immediate action we did, taken care of, and this is what I am planning to take care of. So make everyone aware. So if anyone is going in the archiving room, they are aware of the issues and the immediate actions taken. They say, oh, okay, you know, so-and-so person as our supervisor, committee member is doing his job very nice. Yeah. All good part A1 and 2? Any questions? Harry, sir, all good? Senior Harry. Okay. If you use the other hand, I can see you use this one. Oh, good. Thank you. Part 3. Joe has come back again, and Joe has asked you as a team leader to read through the scenario and continue through the below task. Part 3. One of your team member, Trish, had a nasty fall on the staircase while taking some paperwork down the warehouse. First, it was immediately provided. However, Trish needed medical attention and was rushed to the doctor. After X-rays, it was confirmed Trish has broken her wrist and will be off the work for at least a week. The warehouse manager, Tony Ramos, witnessed the fall as he was about to go up the stair when this Trish fell down the tile stairs. Additional details of Trish: date, person, date of birth, customer service admin officer, accident happened on this. Trish has not yet returned to work. Okay. You will need to record the details of this in using Appendix D, right? This accident and incident report template. Joe has asked you, you hold off on this submitting and do not complete the last page of this form at this stage. So let's go to Appendix D. This one. First name, last name, date of birth, position, department, address, right? Nature of the injury and everything. That will be you. And Joe has asked, do not complete this task yet. Okay, so hold off that yet. And do not complete the last page of this form at this stage. Not now, maybe in a bit. Yeah. Joe has asked you to investigate the situation properly. You will need to conduct another Appendix B hazard inspection, which you already saw just before, right? Joe has reminded that you will need to identify the control in place and why they are inadequate in preventing this injury. Plan for additional control measures to prevent further fall. Okay. So what Joe is asking you to do is, so you have this inspection hazard, everything in place, you know. Let's go to Appendix B quickly. This whole thing, you know, that what are the causes of injury, risk instruction, hierarchy of risk control, checklist and action plan. Even though everything is in place, Certain risks cannot be completely eliminated. Risk will prevent, isn't it? Yeah. If it was 100% safe, secure place, that would have been awesome. But we know it's not the fate. When you involve some stairs, taking something up, down, using elevator, when you are going, it's a bigger setup, when you're going behind, something on a high shelf being stored, there is always something that's not how it should be. And that's why incident happen. So what you need to do, identify the control in a place. So what are the controls in that place? Yeah. Plan for additional control measures to prevent further fall. You may need to research idea for making tile staircase safer. If it is a heavy object, how do you take it? Will you still use the stairs, or will you share the load, or will you be given ramp access? If you had to go down, will you be given a trolley? How to take a load safely downstairs or upstairs. Joe has asked you now to complete the last page of Appendix D, the same thing, detailing both, right? Now is the time to complete it. So you do everything. First of all, record this, complete part B, task B, point B, and then go to Appendix D, report detailing both existing control and the new control you implement. So what is existing measures and how do you plan to improve that? Record this and sending in Appendix C. Appendix to go through, yeah. Your recommendation included at least one of the item require approval from the management allocation of funding. You have submitted the reports to your managing director. You need to make sure action is taken as soon as possible so no further incident happen. Okay. At least I would say one item for funding. Cool. So that was our part 3. Again, recap of part 3, and then I'll pause a bit. If anyone got any question, yeah. What it says here, one of your team member, Trace, has fallen during the nasty stairs. Stairs was really steep or a bit longer steps, or he was having heavy object and can't see down, whatever, while taking some paper downstairs. First test was immediately provided. Trace needs some medical attention, broken his wrist. We got 2 doctors in a class, so if anything happens, yeah, they'll be this person to contact, okay? Will be off for a week, and this is the incident detail, for the person. There is a witness, Tony Ramos, and so you will use this to fill the appendix. You'll need to record the details of injury, Appendix D. So first thing is, just fill the first 2 pages of Appendix D, not complete the last page. Then, what is the existing risk control in place and why it's not sufficient to prevent this fall, and what is your recommendation, additional control. Now you go back to Appendix D and complete the 3rd section, okay, detailing all existing and the new control you recommended. Record the incident to Appendix C, accident and incident register. Okay, let's go to Appendix C quickly. See, it's just this accident incident register. Date and time of the incident, injured worker, date and birth, what task are you doing, nature of incident, cause of it, was this a notifiable occurrence, and name of the person filling out that report. So that will be your name. Okay, that's Appendix C. There are so many lines because it's inappropriate, not appropriate that you have just one line because there's only one incident. You need few lines so you don't insert all, but you don't have to fill all of it. Okay, same thing here, checklist, maybe use whatever you need, not everything. Okay. Your recommendation included at least one of the items that requests approval from the management and some allocation of funding. You might say, okay, we need an elevator, or we need a trolley, we need a ramp access, yeah, or I'm not sure if you've seen any warehouse setting, but many of the warehouse setting, what happens there is, whenever someone is carrying or reversing or using a mini care thing, mini car, where they have loaded all the stuff, right? There's always that light ping, 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 going, right? And they will notify with the sound, and the flashing light will indicate everyone, oh, there is a mini carriage truck or car is coming inside the warehouse, so they do not come across the path of that of the driver. Yeah. And the last thing of that one, sorry, is how do you follow up on approval of your recommendation? So up here, what you say is you need to have some recommendation. You recommend it, but management hasn't approved it, is still in a process. Then what would you do as a follow-up? Yeah. An important part of WHS practice is to regularly check WHS record to assess, identify hazard and risk. You need to undertake your quarterly management assessment risk. And to prepare for that activity, you need to review some of the WHS data you have collected. Joe has asked you to review Appendix E, right? As an example, including the incident recently recorded about trace, he has asked you to analyze this information, identify any trends or repetitive incident in relations to potential work hazard and risk. Joe has asked you to report him via email that you have identified in relations to the common hazard or risk. Please include a copy of the draft email in your submission. Read through the below scenario, then continue to the task below. You know that control have been implemented in all of the cases. Staff were reminded of the importance of housekeeping, and signage was put up in the area reminding people not to leave the paper on the ground. Okay. Something like clean up after you go. So if you have boxes everywhere, paper everywhere, someone will trip over. Okay. Heavy items in a stationery cabinet were moved to the bottom shelf. Only items that are used infrequently are now placed on a top shelf. Obvious logic. So you don't have to lift heavy object from above. It's down there. It's easy to lift it from bottom, then above your shoulder height. Non-slip chair mats were purchased for all the workstation. That's great. Leaking taps in a bathroom were repaired. Sign was put in a bathroom doors, reminding people to be careful with the slippery tiles. Staff were reminded of the importance of safety hazard quickly. Yeah. I will quickly open this PPT. I'll quickly open that PPT. This one. This will indicate you or give you some tip of what could be possible hazard and what are you doing to control it. The mat like this is a slippery mat. Okay, seizures on this. Heavy objects can't see with the heavy heel. Using inappropriate raising. Now she's standing on a revolving chair just on the top of the box. Why? Because she can't reach at the height. I mean, you should use a stair, a foldable stair, right? So many objects carried at one time. It could be file, it could be pizza box, whatever you consider. If you're hungry, consider them as a pizza box. If it is morning, you are filled with your tummy, heavy breakfast is done, then consider it as a file. Yeah, but so many files that a person cannot see. Yeah, Anything like this, so many standing right behind the doors or all that thing person coming in, so many things. Kettle left here, water being here. Yeah. So these are all the control that has been implemented. Okay. You need to identify any trends and repeating incident in relation to the possible potential workplace hazard and risk. Okay. And Joe has asked you if you think the control already implemented are sufficient to prevent any further trends this thing. He has asked you to explain why or why not. He would like you to suggest one way of this common hazard or risk that could be further treated. He is expecting your email. Again, please include a copy of this email in your evidence. Okay, so a lot to go through, yeah? Okay. If I were you as a student sitting in a classroom, what I would do, follow me doing that. Okay, copy everything. Control C, copy everything. Control N is for the new Word document. Yeah, or just go to the same old document with task 3. Yeah. Yes. Oops, it's still there. Wait. Okay. Then I can go to file and go for the new document from here as well. Yeah, but I got a new document already. So, and Control V. Okay. Anything is not important. See, whatever is not important, I would delete that. Okay, that's a scenario. Obviously, that's important. And up here, I would go insert a comment. As a team leader, you facilitate a weekly meeting, and I'll write my notes, right? Notes about the task. Notes number 1, what I am doing, using meeting to facilitate the consultation of or on WHS issues. That's it. That's my point number 1. This will help me to focus on a bigger part into small thing. So when I'm reading this document, it will tell me, oh, there's so much of information, but what I'm doing is reading or at least have access to Appendix A, and I'm using this meeting to facilitate discussion. Okay. During your meeting, there is a discussion about right? Now, a good thing, and I'm happy to share this while the recording is on. It has not specified how many team members should be in your discussion. It has not asked you to produce a video evidence of the discussion. That means consider it done. You can say, oh, okay. So for example, again, let's go to Charles and Elizabeth. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. I'm using their name every time. Yeah. Maybe Charles is a person who is health and safety representative. So Charles is submitting this work. Joe is Joe. Don't worry about Joe. And maybe another team member could include Elizabeth, William, Frank. That's it. So Charles will say, oh, I had a discussion with my team members that includes Elizabeth, William, and Frank. And these are our finding, or this is what William raised. This is what Frank raised. This is the concern that Elizabeth expressed, right? But you don't need a video of that discussion, which is awesome. Yeah, we have enough video in task 2. So this one doesn't need. This task does not need. Just mention that a discussion was carried on and these are the findings. Yeah, I mean, you can literally carry on the discussion, actually carry it and bring the finding. But if you are running out of time, we are all time poor all the time. But then you can hypothetically assume, oh, discussion was carried on and this is a finding or this is a concern that everyone has expressed. Yeah, that shall do as well. Then again, there's a discount benefit, that's fine. All the team members agree that that's excellent. As a team leader, and what action would you take? So I will write, go to here, insert, go to comment, and I would just say actions to be taken by me and management to establish an HSC. That's it, right? So I know that my part 1, second point is like this. Then I move to the next part. Then I make notes of everything. So first thing first, if you are working on this task, make notes now. Why? Everything is fresh in your mind. You know where to look for and then go from there. Okay. Another thing. It doesn't talk about it. When it says Appendix F, why can't I copy and paste the Appendix F just right there? My documents will be bigger, but I will have all the documents handy with me when I need them. So go to Appendix F, this one, everything from here, right? Copy it, paste it inside this space here. So I have the Appendix F right in front of me. Yeah, so I have everything. Joe has asked you to review Appendix F. That's here. So I'm not going to any other document. I mean, it's not necessary to do it this way. I'm just suggesting one way of doing it. Yes, everything is here. You're not scrolling up and down, not going back and forth. One document with all your comment, all your analysis before you start working on it. So the whole situation is clear in your brain before you do anything else. Okay. Any questions with task 3? I'm not doing for all the parts. I just showed one part, how you should do it. Again, it's a suggestion, not a compulsion. It's up to you whether you follow or not. But this is what I would have done, and it helped me. So I got my notes. Even if I'm not able to complete the task today, I have everything I need. So when I'm going back to this AT3, I know what I should be doing because I got my notes. I got my summary. Yeah. Any questions with that? I will stop the recording.